So I want to ask you this simple question. What are you willing to give up in order to get the thing that you really, really wanted? So I want to go ahead and go through 10 different essential things that any man has to give up. Like, this is a no nonsense, non-negotiable 10 list framework that every man has to give up in order to move to the next level and be successful. So the first thing is your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is killing you. Your comfort zone is destroying any chances you have of getting to the next level. See, most people go for something that is reachable, that is attainable, that is not going to push them too far. It's not going to push them too hard. Most men are so worried about failing that they never even push themselves to get to that new level. Maybe it's a 9-to-5 job. Maybe it's that girlfriend that you have. Maybe it's those friends that want you to go this way, but you want to go another way. Your comfort zone is like that person on your shoulder that says, hey, if you take this new venture, if you do this new thing, you're going to be going in some uncharted waters. You're not going to know exactly what to do. So I'm talking to you from this shoulder and I'm telling you, you need to stay where you're good at. You need to stay with the things that you already know how to do. We don't need you investing in yourself, spending extra money on these courses, these classes, these mentorships. We don't need you going to that meeting. Then you're going to have to wear a suit and you're not comfortable with wearing suits. You're going to have to reach out to other people and talk to people and not be such of a loner. Those are all the things that your comfort zone is consistently telling you on a daily basis. If you are not willing to fight and push back to that voice that's talking to you from that shoulder, you're dead in the water, bro. I'm telling you, there's pretty much nothing you can do. Because your comfort zone is the first thing that you have to be willing to throw out the door if you want to go to the next level. See, while a lot of people are still focused on making sure everything is perfect, staying in their comfort zone, they're looking at everything, describing everything, they're thinking out everything, planning everything to the T. While the person that's willing to step out of their comfort zone is willing to do it ugly and unorganized and learn from their mistakes. So while they're learning and getting better and moving forward, you in your comfort zone, you're over here and you're still planning. You're still trying to make sure everything's right. And if you do that, you're going to consistently stay in that same spot. So you got to get out of your comfort zone. The second thing is approval from others. I'll give you an example. When I decided to leave my operations job at Amazon, I was literally making 6 figures there. And I asked multiple people, what do you think about me leaving there to start my own business? So many people were like, bro, that's the dumbest idea that you've ever came up with. It makes no sense. It's stupid. Like, why would you even think about even trying to do something different than what you're already doing? You're comfortable. You got it made. Initially, when they said that to me, I'm like, you know what? They're right. I'm obviously looking for validation from them. That's why I'm asking them, what is their opinion? But every time you seek validation and you get approval from others, a lot of times the oldest trick in the book is they're going to put their insecurities, they're going to put a lot of the things that they're struggling with, they're going to cast that shadow over you. So before you know it, you could just have the fear of being in your comfort zone and having to get out of that. You speak to the next person, they don't like being around people in public crowds. They don't like talking to people and getting out to know people. So they cast that on you. The next person is fear of losing money. So then they cast that on you. And before you know it, You have 3 different things that are on your brain that weren't there before, all because you were trying to get the approval from other people instead of stepping out on faith and doing it on your own. I've said this plenty of times. People are not going to have the vision that you have. They're not going to see what you see. But instead of just thinking about that, you have to realize that the average person is not even set to be in the place that you're in. They're not made to be in the place that you're in. They're not worthy to be in your shoes. You know why? Because they are not you. Each person has their own specific path. So if you go to someone, they're going to try to project their path on you. And that'll never happen. The third thing, wasting your time on things that don't matter. Scrolling on social media, playing games all day, chilling, going out, partying. You know, the average man spends a lot of their life trying to level up on things just so they can impress a woman. If that is what you're doing, you are automatically losing. You're automatically failing. Because if you're trying to do this from the approval of others, you're wasting time because you're not focusing on the things that are going to make you stronger as a person and make you better as a person. You know how many men that I've talked to that they say they don't have enough time? Time is your most valuable asset. But if you're using it for things that don't matter, you're not improving the things that matter with you. I checked my screen time the other day, and it shows in one day, be honest, y'all, I spent 6 hours of screen time. 6 hours. You know how long that was? Think about it. Let's just say I wake up at 8 o'clock and I spend 6 hours straight screen time from when I wake up to the 6 hours is over. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. It's already 1 p.m. Half of the day is almost over because I was on my phone scrolling. Now, I might have been looking at motivational videos, looking at training, researching different things. But the fact of the matter is, bro, I spent 6 hours scrolling. How many of you are doing the same thing? How many of you are spending time on activities and putting your effort into things that are only pushing you backwards? Because when you're scrolling, you're consuming and not creating. You have to think about that. The fourth thing, you got to let go of toxic relationships. That can be a family member, a friend, a girlfriend, wife, be your boyfriend for a woman, be a colleague. How many times have you been around somebody and the only thing they talked about and the only thing that they did was bring up negative stuff? You can call them a negative Nancy. And pretty soon, before you know it, it was like, okay, it's like a jump rope. You're waiting to get in. You're waiting to jump in. You seen that when girls do jump roping? They're trying to get in, double dutch. They're like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's because misery loves company. You could have been on the right track, had the right mindset, but you're around this toxic person that's constantly complaining, constantly making up excuses, or constantly talking about why they can't get things done. And the only thing is they're going to push that off on you. I would say besides someone being in their comfort zone, toxic relationships are probably one of the biggest things that deter people from doing the things that they really want to do in their life. Again, because they're listening to what other people have to say. You could be talking about subject A, and they're talking about subject B. It doesn't even have to do with anything that you were talking about, but they're negative over in this aspect. That negativity is going to roll off into you. It's always happened. And that's never going to go away. I'm telling you. You have to think if a person is around you, are they watering your seed for you to grow? Or are they stealing from your soil? If you can answer that question, then you can decide whether they're toxic or not. Simple one, number 5, you got to give up the party life. You have to give up the late night partying, or just partying in general. When you get to where you want to be and you're successful, you'll have plenty of time to party. That's without being said, right? You'll have plenty of time to celebrate. But your time is the most important currency. So if you spend 4 to 5 hours hanging out, partying, what are you getting out of that? Yeah, it can be a stress reliever. But you're probably going to have to drive. You're wasting gas. Probably going to have a new outfit, right? Nice shoes, new haircut. You're going to have to spend money to go out and eat or drink or whatever you're doing. You're going to have to spend money to get in. The only thing you're getting from that is some temporary dopamine of something that's going to temporarily make you feel better. And them green guys coming out your pocket. That's it. Because as soon as that party is over, as soon as that liquor wears off, you're going to be right back feeling the way you were before. And I can't let you do that, bro. I can't let you do that. Number 6 is giving up excuses. See, me, I'll be honest. Excuses was my middle name. That was something that I always did. I didn't turn in a project on time. I didn't finish a training module. I didn't make a phone call that I was supposed to do. It was always a reason why I couldn't get to it because something else came up. But in reality, I was making excuses out of fear. I knew where I needed to be. I knew what I needed to do. But I always found some reason why I couldn't get it done. Does that sound familiar? That is you making excuses to yourself on why you shouldn't be where you're trying to go. Excuses is the easiest thing to come up with to justify. Justify something not being done. I'm with my 2-year-old son a lot. I used to say a lot of the times, man, I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm with my son. I'm building this business. I can't build it with him. But here I am, the same business that I was struggling to produce revenue. I am now making the most money that I've ever made in a month with my son. So the same scenario, different mindset, different outcome. So until you decide to give up excuses and keep giving yourself a reason why you can't do it, you're going to consistently stay there. Number 7. Oh, man. Sacrificing sleep and pleasure. You got to remember delayed gratification is something that's going to play a huge part in you being successful. There's so many people that are pushing aside sleep for pleasure. They're pushing aside the must-do thing for the easy-do thing. Now, when I say sacrificing sleep and pleasure, what I mean is You're not being aware of the things that are going to get you to the next level. You're accepting the easy things. You're accepting the pleasure, but you're not putting in the hard work. It's just like a person that's working out, right? You're going to consistently work out. First month, you might see a little gains. You might tone down a little bit. You might see a little muscle. You might feel a little bit stronger. But after a month, you might not really see some real changes. But the most people are asleep on the necessary things that they're going to actually say like, bro, like, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm asleep to the fact that this is what's needed in order to get me to the next level. I'd rather focus on pleasure. I don't want to pick up that weight. It's too hard. I don't like the way it makes my body feel. Stop being asleep to the things that needs to be done and focusing more on pleasure. Because if you consistently focus on the things that are going to bring you pleasure, you're not going to get any results. Because results usually come from pain. Results usually come from the things that you don't want to do. Results come from the things that you know, regardless of how you feel, you got to get it done anyway. Stop being asleep, man. Stop being asleep and stop taking pleasure. Number 8. It's another big one. Being comfortable with just getting by. I was reading the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And Secrets of the Millionaire Mind was talking about the difference between people getting rich, the difference between people being wealthy, and the difference between people not having the things that they want at all. And one of the things that he said in the book is, if you focus on just being comfortable, which most people do, you're never going to have that comfortable amount of money. You're only going to have a minimum amount that's not going to give you the security and the freedom to do the things that you need to do. But 9 times out of 10, if you focus on being rich, being wealthy, then you'll be comfortable. It simply is just like overshadowing or overstepping the lines of what you feel like is enough to pushing yourself to want way more. Because if you don't hit the higher goal, you can still hit a lower goal that's still better than not hitting a goal at all. But if you focus only doing just enough, 9 times out of 10, you're going to do just below that. And it won't necessarily be at the level or the goal that you need. Barely getting by will give you barely results. It's that simple. Being average is not okay. In a world where there's participation trophies for every single thing that you do. Get yourself in the right mind frame that barely getting by is not going to cut it. Barely making things happen is not going to allow you to take care of your family. It's not going to allow you to take care of yourself. It's not going to allow you to be that friend, that family member, that spouse that the other people need from you. You can't help other people barely getting by. You just can't. You have to do more. Number 9 is cutting out the fear of failure. Man, fear in general of failing is something that we're all dealing with. Every single person has a fear of failure. Because if we didn't have a fear of failure, I would say 9 out of 10 people would have all the things that they specifically want. I'll take, for example, me creating content. I was like, why would I even get on camera? Nobody's going to want to listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to get on camera. Somebody's going to say something about my appearance or my camera or the topics that I'm talking about. And it stopped me for literally a few years to even get on camera to start doing stuff because I was afraid of failing. But as cliche as it sounds, failing is not even trying, bro. I'd rather fail 100 times. I'd rather fail 1,000 times than to be the dude that just talks about things they want to do and they don't never get anything accomplished. Fear is the oldest trick in the book, bro. Being comfortable is on this side. Failure and fear is on this side. They're always going to be there, no matter what you do. Every level you go to, there's a new devil, bro. Every time you step out, failure and fear is going to be right there, whispering in your ear every single time, bro. And if you're not even aware to even know that it's there, that it's talking to you, good luck at trying to get to where you're trying to get to. They always say the graveyard is the richest place in the world because all those people went to the grave with ideas that they could have brought to the world that would have solved an issue that somebody had, but they were too afraid to bring into the world. It's that simple, bro. The last thing, number 10, is trying to do things alone. I'd rather have 50% of 100 than to not have 50% at all. Men a lot of times feel like they can figure everything out and do everything themselves. No doubt in my mind. Even a lot of women. Whole independent thing. I don't need somebody. The reality of it is there's somebody dealing with something that you're going through right now and can help you get out of that situation. The difference between a person that's successful and wealthy and rich, good health, finances, their spiritual life is on check, their relationship is in order. It's usually something that you don't know. That's the only difference. So doing it alone is making you go through all them steps and figuring out all these things by yourself. So if you got somebody that's around you, or you can reach out to a mentor, or you have a family member or a friend that's really on it and really doing what they're trying to do, what value can you bring to that person so you don't have to do what you're trying to do alone, and they can help fast forward you to where you're trying to go? But most people don't think like that. Nah, bro, I'm good. I got it. I can take care of it. How many times have you said that? Think about how many times you said that. How many times have you said, no, I'm good. I don't need no help. You needed help just to say you don't need no help. Really? The point that I'm trying to make with these 10 key things that you have to get rid of is that time is your most important currency. You cannot get time back, period. So the longer you put off these things, the longer you make excuses, the longer you say you can do it yourself, the longer that you're going to continue to be asleep and putting pleasure first. Is the longer you're going to miss out on what your real calling is, bro. I'm talking to you, man. You don't know me from anything. I don't know you. But in order to even get to a level where you feel like you're really making strides, is you got to be aware of all these things. Hopefully that helps somebody. Just wanted to talk about the 10 must things, in my opinion, I feel like men need to be aware of and need to make changes towards.